Hey guys, and welcome back. Thanks for joining me on another episode of Henderson Equipment. Well, unfortunately, I need money, and when you need some money, you gotta sell off some assets. So in this video, we're going to take a look at one of my old Ford tractors I bought a long time ago. It's been sitting for years. I'm gonna get it running, and I'm gonna drop it off at the auction and hopefully make some money on it. Let's get into it. Man, it's been so long since I wrapped this thing up, I forget what it even looks like. I think it's either a 1920 or a 2120. I can't really remember. So just to recap on this thing, this is a Ford 2120, and I bought this from an old-time farmer in New Jersey. He called me out and he said, "Hey Brad, are you even interested in this thing? You can have it for a stupid cheap price. But just to be honest with you, it needs a starter and the transmission is broken. It doesn't move." Now the price was right on this machine, and I said, you know what, I'd be happy to buy this thing to help support a local farmer. But again, that was probably 3, maybe 4 years ago. It's been a little bit. So hopefully the engine isn't locked up from sitting, and hopefully it truly does just need a starter to get started. The transmission, well, that'll probably be something else. So this thing has 1,075 hours. 1,000 hours. Do we think the transmission is truly shot after 75 hours? I wouldn't think so. The Japanese made these things pretty darn robust. But I will say, lack of care will destroy these things. So, and this girl is pretty darn rusty. It's actually a battery in it. Motor oil's good and black, just how we like it. So this is the Kell fuel shut off. It's got electrical solenoid. This is actually the throttle linkage. Ooh, that's broken. That's broken. So, got nothing on the throttle pedal. I got nothing there. Going into gear okay. Clutch in. Doesn't really want to go into gear. This may be a little tougher to get going than I was originally hoping. At least the bolts are there for the starter, so let's just put a starter in this thing and a new battery, and let's just see if this thing turns over, see what happens. Really quickly, talking about starters, especially for these series of the Japanese Ford tractors. The original starters were really good, very good starters. And you got to be careful when you're buying replacement starters, especially for these, because of the compression ratio of these guys. It's a little high. The Chinese starters do not hold up at all. They overheat. They do spin fast, but they overheat really quick, and all the plastic components just don't work. So when you're working on these Ford tractors, I highly encourage you to buy the original Japanese starter for them. And if you can't find a reputable person to rebuild these starters are easily rebuilt. There's not many people that rebuild starters anymore, but the Mennonite rebuild them, and a couple old timers rebuild them. So this is a rebuilt Japanese starter, and we're going to install this bad boy. I'm going to do my best not to block the view, but probably going to have to. I would like to. Oh man. If I can take this off, it makes viewing life easier, as well as my life. But this machine's a little rusty, so I was not gonna lie, I was a little nervous spinning this thing out. This is one nice thing that's a big different from the 10 models. So they had straight series, 10 series, and 20 series. And the 20 series had a lot more sheet metal parts, which can be a pain in the ass, but they did make things more accessible, like the starter, than the 10 series. And really, taking the starters, installing a starter is an easy job. There's no sense in lying about it. It's an easy job. It's not hard at all. I don't care what anybody says. But installing these starters, installing the starters on the 10 series tractors are really tough, because a lot of times they had them tucked behind the injector pump, and you got to really turn and modify the starter just to get the damn thing to rotate in there. It's literally a real pain in the ass. So they fixed that with the 20 series, which is nice. Look at that, this fits in real nice. And life's been good ever since they changed that. So look how easy it is just for me to put this starter on. I see sparks shooting. Got something smoking. Is this hot? Ow, god damn. Shit's fucking hot. It's gotta be a loose connection. Create that type of fucking heat. I got a blister already. Holy hell. Let's see if it wants to start now. There's a glow plugs button, but I don't see the glow plugs being activated, so. I can't believe this thing started like that. Now she's squirting diesel out of this injector. I think these are 17 too. I can't believe this thing started so quick. Oh my god. Why would the injector be loose? Man. Okay. I can't believe this thing started as fast as it did. Just make sure it's got some fucking coolant in here. It's got coolant. Man, this thing started easy. Can't believe this thing started like it did. Oh, Jakey boy just showed up. Okay, she's like going full throttle. So we gotta make sure she don't run away. Alright, Jakey Poo just left. So, when I started this thing, it was actually wide open throttle, so the throttle cables are, they're rusted tight. So I cut them off, banged it back to its lowest setting, which is idle, I think. So let's start it now. You know, and so like something weird's going on with the little switch here. That looks like a level one to me. I got no hydraulics. Oh, got some. Oh, there we go. He's trying. Honestly, she sounds pretty good. Well, that's cool. I am thrilled that it starts. I'm going to put some hydraulic oil in this thing and then see if the hydraulics work. But first thing I got to hook up my trailer and load a container. I got to haul a container for my neighbors. So let me go do that. Probably going to take 2 hours, then I'll come right back to it. So I ran over to the neighbors to go get that container, but it's really like the end of a truck. It's like a box truck, probably something from the 70s, I guess, or 80s. Anyway, you know, I get myself into some wild stuff. So thankfully, my truck and my gooseneck will do anything. But you know, getting this big thing on this trailer was quite the engineering feat, to say the least. So. Well, we're going to give her some juice and see what that does. It's almost like the sump is like completely empty, which is suspicious. Like, why would this thing be completely empty? Like, I got like barely any hydraulic function. It's trying, but I really don't have much of anything. The farmer didn't say nothing about the hydraulics not working. He just said it stopped steering. Or I'm sorry, it just stopped driving. Alright. What do you say we see what that does, huh? Alright. I'm trying to activate the glow plugs, but I don't know if they're working. Could I be that blessed that I just put hydraulic oil and it starts moving? Maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe. I don't know. This never happens. Never to me, at least. Usually everything goes wrong, but I'm gonna finally win on something. Finally. Just picking up these panels because I'm gonna bring this tractor to the garage and work on it a little more, which will be a little better than out in the bush here. So, all right, let's take this thing for a quick cruise. Let's put this in medium. There we go. All right, had a breaker free. Put it in medium. Let's go 2 and forward. Great, come on. This is nice. I'm gonna have to get more hydraulic fluid. She's running low. And you know what I noticed? I noticed that there was a hydraulic leak going on here. And right up here is a hydraulic filter. That filter was hand tight, and it was loose. It was crazy loose. So I'm wondering if the guy did a filter change on this thing and didn't tighten the filter up all the way, and it leaked out while he was driving, and it just stopped driving. Maybe that's why he think the transmission went, but I don't know. Because he said this was a hydrostatic transmission, and honestly, I didn't even look at this machine close enough to... I just saw it was a great deal, and I was like, I'm just going to buy the damn thing. But this isn't. This is a 12-speed shuttle shift, so... Well, it's the next day, and of course it's windy as hell out, because that's the only time I seem to record things. Anyway, I looked up what that warning light was, and it says the coolant reservoir was low. And I looked at it, and sure enough, the coolant reservoir is low. So we're going to fill that up. Well, let's start this thing up, see how it sounds now that it's the next day. I haven't started it since. I'm going to start it without using the glow plugs because the glow plug indicator isn't working on the dash, but I haven't put a meter to it to see if it is working. So let's see if it'll start. It's in neutral. Key on. Fix that throttle cable on this thing. Tell you what though, it started right up without glow plugs. No warning lights, so... Tell you what, this thing sounds pretty good. I had to cut these cables, so we got to replace both of these. I think this one's for the foot and this one's for the hand. And there's supposed to be a spring holding this back, and then this plate, which is a little tight, rocks back and forth. We'll get it freed up some more, but yeah. So the spring's supposed to pull it back. That's where it's idle. And then as you need throttle, you pull it back, and then that's like wide open. So, let's take these clips off, and then really we're just following. Yeah, this is your throttle. Damn dogs. Can't do nothing without being bothered. Oh, and here's, oh gosh, this thing's a joke. Ooh, that's gonna be a pain in the ass. Well, another shrimp on the Barbie. Look at that. That's gonna be messy. Alright, so we got this bottom plate out here, and your hand throttle is right here. So I'm probably just gonna pull it out from up here, I would think. I'm getting killed with wind today. Killed. I feel so bad for you guys because I'm probably trying to watch, and I'm just getting bombarded with like a tornado right now. There we go. So that should slip off here. And it does. That's something that actually worked. What's going on here? C-clip, okay. Well, let me take that C-clip out. So this is the New Holland part number for the throttle cable for the foot pedal. This is the New Holland number for the hand throttle at the instrument cluster. Alright, so throttle cables are in. I got everything just about buttoned up. I have to assume the glow plugs are working because it's like 28 degrees out. It starts so easily. Wait a second. Man, he didn't even snug this up properly. Farmers are funny. You know, farmers can be funny at the end of the day. So that's going to be an easy fix. So I'm doing an oil change on this Ford, and we are going to install the Napa 1459. This is an extended cartridge oil filter. What was on was a 55132 Napa filter, which is just fine, but I highly recommend this extended capacity oil filter. And it's almost like it's designed for it, because look, it hugs this one oil return. Like, it just fits in there beautifully. So when you can use an extended oil filter for extended capacity, highly recommend it, and your friend's going to appreciate it too. This oil filter that I took off this Ford, this thing is heavy. It's got to be full of sludge. Being this heavy, I mean, I drained it, but being this heavy, not a good sign. Now these Fords have two drain plugs. The 10 series didn't have this issue. Where you'd have like this input in between, but they did a redesign with this structure here. I'm not too sure why, but they did. Anyway, there's now this like channel in between the oil pan. It works just fine, but now you got two oil drains you gotta undo. So we did the one. Now we gotta undo this one. My fingers weren't so fucking fat. This thing's tight. That tie rod is tight. Man, this tie rod's tight too. Look at that. It only plays in the piston. Wow, that's a beautiful thing. I totally rigged this exhaust up. I put a big ass water clamp onto the muffler, but she's tight. You know, she's tight. Look how funny. Look how funny this looks with this big ass exhaust. Talking about a smokestack. Now the final thing I gotta do is, because the glow plug light isn't working, and I checked the wiring. What I did is I ended up pinging, like, just I did a signal check from all of these wires from here to the dash and to the actual glow plugs themselves. All the glow plugs are showing the right resistance. So I think that this module is bad. This is called an NGK lamp timer. They have it like no space. It's one word, lamp timer. Says it's made in Japan. I'm pretty sure this is bad. I think this is a timer relay. I'm not too familiar with these on the Fords, but I'm very familiar with these on the Kubotas. And these do go bad. I've seen them go bad plenty of times. So I just ordered a new one. Don't buy the Chinese ones. Try to buy the Japanese ones, because the Chinese ones are just real crap. So here's the replacement one. I don't know, they changed the sticker. I don't know why, and they also put a space between lamp timer, so this one's probably very old, and this one's probably very new. Made in Japan. So let's install this guy. And I'm literally just gonna plug this in. This is supposed to be mounted right here, but looks like it broke off. Who knows why? But I want to plug this in, and let's see. I'll hook it up later, but I want to see if the glow plugs go on now. All right. So let's turn key to glow plug. I'll be damned, do you see the light go on? Nice. And it should go out on its own. There you go. Nice. Well, that's that. You know, the lamp was good, but here's your glow plug relay. It says a lamp timer delay or a lamp timer relay, and it really is. It lets you know like when the glow plugs are ready, so it times for this light to go out. So I get why they call it a lamp timer delay, but I would really call this the glow plug relay. So guys, I want to take some time at the end of this video and talk about this tractor here. So again, this is a Ford 2120, and for those of you who do not know about these Ford tractors, these subcompact tractors were manufactured in Japan. So they're branded Ford, but they are really all Japanese made. These subcompact tractors, in my opinion, they're the best of the kind. They're versatile, they're light, they're easy to work on, easy to repair, and they run forever, as long as you take care of them. So again, this is a Ford 2120, and of the subcompact series back in like the late 80s and late 90s, this here is the biggest subcompact model you could get by Ford. So they made, you know, like 1200 series, which were like the smallest, all the way up to the 2100 series, which you have here to my right. So this is a 40 horsepower tractor, and the 20, so the 2120, where the 20 comes in, that's the later version. So they made a 2100 version, a 2110 version, and a 2120. So here we got the 2120. So this is the latest and greatest model that you could have gotten back in the late 90s. This is right before Ford sold and went into Holland. So this is the true last Ford Japanese tractor you can get. So it's very valuable. They're kind of desirable. They don't come around anymore. I mean, there's not many of these out, especially in like really good condition. And if you guys were taking a look watching this video, you know, this Ford is in, we'll say, I'll call it fair condition. It's in great mechanical condition, but due to like some rust in the bodywork, I got to put it in fair. So let's do a one over and just talk about what I did to this machine. So again, you know, I had to do tie rod end on this tractor, and I ended up replacing the tie rods on both sides. It cost me about $150 to replace the tie rods on both ends. I went through the loader of the machine and I changed all of the Zerk fittings out. Those were fairly cheap, and then I re-lubed everything. It was a bit of a pain in the ass, but that happens when machines sit and they see, you know, snow, salt, and rust. I did have to go through the cluster panel, repair some of the wiring, change out some lights, and really that's pretty much it. Everything else was working, so that was a minimal investment. I did put this Amazon special, I think it was like $120, $130. I did put a new seat on. One, it looks a lot better. It is an adjustable one. It's nice, it works. It's not the best seat out there, but it's way better than that, you know, mouse piss seat that I was sitting on. I could do nothing about these fenders. These fenders are just rusty as hell. I tried to look online. I looked at some tractor salvage yards, and these fenders are honestly like pretty much impossible to find. So, you know, if you really wanted to, I mean, it's really not the end of the world. You could probably just cut up and fab your own fenders if you really wanted to. Or if you don't really care, you just leave it. I mean, they're just going to get covered in mud and shit anyway. Had no issues on the rear here. 3-point works. All the PTO works. Honestly, no issue. Everything greased right up, no problems. I did have to go through, you know, and unfreeze all these levers from sitting for the past 5 to 7 years. But once I freed them up and lubed them up, I mean, she was set ready to rock. Talking about the engine compartment here, you know, I went through, changed the fluids. I ended up changing the glow plug relay to get the glow plugs to work. And, you know, besides doing the fluids filters, she fired right up. I did add some diesel conditioning fluid just to clean out the injectors from sitting, because it was blowing a little bit of blue smoke at startup, and usually that's from just injectors, you know, either being worn or clogged up a little bit. She took a little bit of coolant, but that's cheap. And again, I did put a battery in it, so that's about $150. The lights didn't work, and I really didn't want to deal with those socket bulbs because they're really not that bright. So I ended up putting these Chinese aux beam fog lights in. They're a little small, but they're bright as hell. They work good. Last but not least, and probably my favorite addition, is I had this big smokestack sitting here, and I had it sitting around. I didn't know what to do with it. I was thinking about putting it on my service truck, but I decided to put it on the tractor, and I'm glad I did, because I feel like I got the biggest nutsack on the block right now. So that's going to be about a wrap for this video, guys. Hopefully you learned something from this video, or about these series tractors, or if you have one of these tractors or something similar, maybe doing some of the repairs that I did to this will end up helping you down the line. If not, maybe you enjoy just watching me work. That's fine. I do appreciate everyone's comments, questions, concerns, even nasty comments. I do appreciate, because at least I know people are watching the videos. So stay tuned for next time. Please hit the like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned to the next one. See ya.